Good afternoon. The court is going to take up the next case on the court's docket, C210060CPS. This is in the interest of Jeremy Felix Sanchez, a child. The case is set for a resumption of an adversary hearing. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is caseworker Brianna Contreras, caseworker Celine Chavez, and regional attorney Deborah Keenum. The mother of the child is Marisol Zapata, who is participating in the hearing today. The father of the alleged father of the child is Jeremy Cody Sanchez, who I believe is also participating in the hearing today. I'll confirm that in just a moment. There's an unknown father of the child cited by publication through posting. Emmett Fleming has been appointed as the attorney ad litem for the child, and Mr. Fleming is participating in the hearing today. The Casa Guardian ad litem representative for the child is Maureen Zapisi, and she is participating in the hearing today. I would also note on my screen, Rebecca Ross is participating in the hearing. Ms. Ross, could you remind the court your connection with the case, please?
I'm the CASA volunteer.
Okay, you're with CASA too. Okay, thank you. I thought so, but I want to make sure. Thank you. All right, and let me confirm, is Mr. Sanchez on our conference?
Yes, Your Honor. I have Mr. Sanchez right here at the jail.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. I believe the current caregiver for the child is Sylvia Sanchez, who is the mother of Mr. Sanchez, and she is not present, and the child is excused from participating in the hearing today. All right, Ms. Keenum, could you advise the court and the parties and counsel what orders the department is seeking today?
Yes, Your Honor. The department is seeking to continue as the temporary managing conservator. We would have the mother named as a possessory conservator. We would ask that genetic testing be completed on Mr. Sanchez, and if he is determined to be the father, that he would be named a possessory conservator, that we would continue the current placement. We would offer what services are available to both parents. It's my understanding that Mr. Sanchez will be out of jail. He's hoping in the next 2 to 4 months, and that the mother, I do believe she does have a longer time frame that she is facing, but we would have any services that are available to her. And once Mr. Sanchez is out of incarceration, we would provide for visitation for him.
Thank you. Ms. Zapata and Mr. Sanchez, the purpose of today's hearing is for the court to determine whether or not to grant the temporary orders being requested by the department. Those orders would include an order that would continue the Department Child Protective Services as the temporary managing conservator of the child for the time being, which means the department would have the duty and responsibility to make sure the child was in an appropriate placement and well cared for during the duration of this case, whatever that may be. If the court were to grant those orders, the orders would also include an order that would appoint Ms. Zapata as a temporary possessory conservator, meaning she would have court-ordered visitation rights with the child, of course, subject to any incarceration she may be subject to at the time. Regarding Mr. Sanchez, the orders would include an order that would order paternity testing to confirm whether or not he is in fact the father of the child. If Mr. Sanchez were confirmed to be the father, he would remain involved in the case and be subject to further orders of the court. If he were ruled out as the father, then he would be non-suited and dismissed from the case. My understanding is for the time being, the department would propose for the child to remain in the care of Sylvia Sanchez while this case continues. If the court grants those orders, the orders would also include orders for the department to provide services to each of the respondents in this case to try to address any concerns the department might have if the child were placed back in the care of a parent respondent in this case. If the court grants those orders, then I'm required to set additional hearings in the case to check on the status of the case, see how the department is doing on providing services to the parties involved in the case, and how the parties are doing on working on those services to see if we've addressed the concerns that prompted the removal of the child. In order to decide how to proceed with today's hearing, I need to confirm with Ms. Zapata and Mr. Sanchez their position on the orders being requested. So I'm going to start with Ms. Zapata first. Ms. Zapata, regarding the orders being requested by the department, are you in agreement with those orders, or are you opposed to the court entering those orders? If you could unmute your device just so we could hear your response, please. There
Hello?
you go. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, what were we discussing?
Well, we're discussing what your position is on the orders requested by the department. Are you in agreement with the court entering those orders?
Mhm.
Are you opposed to the court entering those orders?
I can't hear you. What did you say? I'm sorry. I can't hear.
Okay. The question I'm asking is whether you are in agreement with the orders being requested by the department at this time, or whether you're opposed to the court entering those orders.
If I'm opposed to it or what? I'm sorry. I don't understand what he's asking. Huh? What did you say, sir? I'm sorry.
Ms.
I'm sorry.
Zapata, what I need to determine from you today is what your position is on the orders being requested by the department. In other words, are you in agreement with them being continued as temporary managing conservator, or are you against them being continued as temporary managing conservator?
I'm in agreement.
You're in agreement? Okay.
That means that I'm like 100% sure that I'm in agreement with them being in custody of my son, right? Our son.
Yes, ma'am. For the time being, the department would have the responsibility to take care of your child, make sure the child's in a safe environment. My understanding is they propose for the time being, the child to remain with Sylvia Sanchez under their supervision.
Yes, sir.
And then they would try to set up services for you to the extent that you're able to participate in those to try to address any concerns they might have once you're released from incarceration if the child were back in your care.
Yes, I'm in agreement, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Mr. Sanchez, I have the same inquiry of you as to your position in the case. Are you in agreement with the orders requested by the department, or are you opposed to those orders?
I'm in agreement, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Fleming, as the attorney ad litem for the child, what is your position on those orders?
Your Honor, I concur with the department, and I would only add that Ms. Sanchez is taking good care of our child. I'm very pleased.
Good, thank you. All right, Ms. Peasy, what is CASA's position on the orders requested?
We are in agreement, Your Honor, with the department.
All right, thank you. All right, the court, after hearing the announcements of the parties and after taking judicial notice of the court's file, will grant the orders requested by the department in this case. We're going to set some additional hearings in this case. The status hearing in the case will be set on September 13th, 2021 at 2:30. An initial permanency hearing is set for January 4th, 2022 at 9:30. A permanency hearing and pretrial is set for May 3rd, 2022 at 9. A trial, if needed, is set for June 15th, 2022 at 9. And the dismissal date for the case is July 18th, 2022. I'm required to notify any parent or potential parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your child may be subject to restriction or even termination, and your progress on any court orders or plans of service developed during the course of this case will be reviewed at future hearings in this case. I will further advise you as the case progresses, you have a right to retain a lawyer to represent you if you feel the need for legal advice. If, as this case progresses, you become opposed to the relief requested by the department and cannot afford an attorney, you can make a request for a court-appointed attorney, and if the court determines you do not have sufficient assets or income to hire a lawyer on your own, the court can appoint a lawyer for you. Mr. Sanchez, in your situation, since your paternity hasn't been yet established, I'm not authorized to appoint an attorney for you at this time, but if you are later established as the father and want a court-appointed lawyer, you can make a request for one at that time. All right. With that,